Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of the Space Coast Real Estate Spotlight. I am your host, Nate Jomaa with ShorePoint Mortgage. Today I want to talk to you about two things that are impacting us here on the Space Coast in terms of real estate. Stick with us, I'll be right back. All right, so the first thing I want to talk to you about today is how Space Coast real estate and the Space Coast in general is a little bit of an anomaly when it comes to when we look at nationwide trends, nationwide topics. We still have a thriving real estate market here on the Space Coast. When I look at the data that was provided by the Space Coast Association of Realtors, and we're looking at August 2024 numbers compared to August 2023 numbers, we're seeing that we still have a healthy amount of appreciation year over year. So as an example, August 2023, the median home price was $370,000. August 2024, that had increased 4.1%, $15,000 to $385,000. There's reports all over the country of home values depreciating and decreasing. That's not happening here. The Space Coast is still alive and thriving, and we have a very healthy real estate environment. Another thing that's interesting, our month supply of inventory, so that's how many homes are on the market. In 2023, for August, it was 2.4 months. We're up 66.7% in August 2024 with 4 months. So those two things are significant. Significant that we now have more inventory so that the buyers that are active and are in the market have more homes to purchase, but also that the median sales price went up slightly. So as a buyer, that's not so much fun, right? But as a seller or somebody that's a real estate enthusiast, such as myself and many of you, it's exciting that despite what's going on nationally, the Space Coast is still alive and thriving. And we're seeing increases in not just our inventory, but the price of homes. That's a very interesting fact compared to the rest of the country. So that's great for all of us that live here on the Space Coast. That means that we're still in a market that is absolutely thriving. Now, those numbers that I just shared are related to single family residences. Shifting gears just a little bit, I want to talk to you about something that's very near and dear to my heart, should be very near and dear to anyone's heart, really, and that is privacy of credit. I'm not sure if you've ever heard the term trigger leads, but what a trigger lead is essentially is when you apply for a loan, whether it's an auto loan, a mortgage loan, it could even be maybe a credit card loan in some instances, but the intel or the information that you had a credit pull is then sold to some unscrupulous mortgage providers, auto loan providers, credit card providers that you had your credit pulled for that purpose. They can buy that information. It's called a trigger lead because it's triggered by you getting your credit pull. Purchased a home in the last couple of years, unless you did the pre-screen opt-out, you're going to find that when you do that, you're going to get bombarded with calls from these low-life, nobody mortgage reps, and they're going to be promising you the world. They're going to call you tons and tons of times over the course of weeks sometimes. So there's a new bill that is being introduced in Congress. It's HR 7297, HR 7297, and that bill is going to protect that information from being shared. It's nobody's business other than yours and the person that's pulling your credit that you are shopping for a home, shopping for an auto, shopping for anything. And so it will cut back on all of these trigger leads, and it will also mean that you have more privacy of your credit. That's one thing that all of us depend on in this world to be able to get certain things. You have to get your credit pulled, right? When you talk to somebody, they always ask you, what is your credit score? And that is because that's a really important thing. And so this act is going to provide that protection for us. So I'll provide a link down in the show notes here that you can click on if you want to learn a little bit more about it. And there's also going to be a link for you to be able to sign an online petition with both your congressman and your senators to ask for their support in getting this bill passed. Be back in 2 weeks with a new episode.